Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news of a fire in the Sierras. City Council again approves the agreement for a new Indian casino. A shooting at UCLA in Los Angeles. News of road construction by the new Walmart. News from the China Lake Museum. Today's KZGN Talking Points editorial. Weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake. This is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. In Sierra News, we get this report of the start of a wildfire just northeast of us here in the valley. The Kern County Fire Department has sent a Type 3 strike team, Helicopter 408, and a hand crew to assist with the chimney fire that is burning 15 miles northeast of Kernville up in Kennedy Meadows. A Type 3 strike team includes the following units. These units are responding with 3-person staffing. Engine 314 from Mojave, Engine 336 from Glenville, Engine 345 from Edison, Engine 363 from Oildale, and Engine 376 from Kernville. The strike team is led by a strike team leader for a total of 16 personnel. Helicopter 408 and support units are on scene with 10 personnel. Crew 10 is responding with 15 personnel. A Kern County Fire Department refrigeration unit is responding with 1 person. There is no information as to the level of containment yet. In city news, Wednesday evening, the City Council once again took up the issue of the service agreement for the new Indian casino. The vote was 3-2 approving the agreement. The last vote was 4-1 approving it last meeting. This week, Councilman Eddie Thomas, who hardly made any comment during the whole 4-hour discussion, changed from a yes vote to a no vote. He offered no reason as to his change in the vote. Jim Sanders voted no, continuing his opposition to the agreement. Yes votes were Mayor Breeden and Council members Acton and Maurer. Here's the details. The actual purpose of the meeting was to give final approval to the agreement they approved last week with changes in it from last week's meeting. Of course, this was another opportunity for the public to speak on the issue. But it started off with a good discussion from the council first, and the city attorney explained in detail all the changes that were made. The audience was a little smaller than previous meetings, but there was still a pretty good turnout. I'd guess about 150 people were there. And like most of the meetings, the audience was pretty evenly split pro and con. When the public got their chance to speak, the majority of the public that got up and spoke against the agreement. I was a little dismayed that a couple of opponent speakers leveled accusations and then left the room before they got answers to their questions. If they challenged the council and asked questions, I don't understand why they would get up and leave before they getting their answers, which the council did answer a little later. A lot of the public comment was focused on a belief that the city would not be able to ever sue the tribe to enforce the terms of the agreement. They even cited court cases stating that suing a tribe has little chance of success. To those accusations, City Attorney Lemieux stated he was familiar with those cases and they are no longer applicable to today's agreements. He stated that to use old cases that have since been overturned in court and new laws have been written to fix those problems is not appropriate. There was some more concern about the location. There was also some comments about many issues that would be handled via the actual environmental and project approval process, which comes later. And the council believed that many identified problems will also be handled through any land purchase agreement as well. What was weird in public comment was that there were quite a few supporters there, but only a couple got up and actually spoke. Not sure why that was the case. After a lengthy discussion, the council took a break. During this break, the city attorney and the tribe attorney met and agreed to incorporate some changes that had once again been submitted by the public. When they reconvened, the city attorney provided the council the final changes that were just agreed to between the attorneys. In the end, the city attorney told the council and audience that he saw the open meeting was very good. Many issues were pointed out with the wording of the agreement, which they took into consideration and incorporated many of those into the agreement. At the end, the casino developer and Indian tribe chief provided more answers to the public. They did voice their disappointment in some of the opponents doubting their desire to be good neighbors. When it came time for final comments from the council, it was clear that Sanders was still opposing the agreement and was trying to delay the vote. He cited that he hadn't had enough time to read and analyze the revised agreement. Acton challenged Sanders in that the changes were only minor to the agreement, which they've had for weeks now to analyze. It doesn't take long to review a few changes to the wording, she said. Councilman Maurer agreed with Acton, stating that he has had plenty of time to review the agreement and the changes. Sanders then tried to ask for some kind of independent analysis contract to be issued to provide the council with an independent review of the economic benefits of the project. To that, the mayor responded that she didn't understand how they would use the information, and what specific information would he expect to get that he hasn't already been provided. Sanders really was vague in how he answered that question. In the end, the motion to approve was made by Acton and seconded by Maurer. The roll call vote provided 3-2 voting, approving the agreement. So, that's it for now. Next up will probably be a discussion on the sales agreement for the land itself, but there is no schedule as to when that will come up. Well, yesterday there was a shooting at UCLA in Los Angeles. The gunman who shot and killed a UCLA professor on Wednesday has been identified as Manak Sarkar. He was a former doctoral student who had accused the victim of stealing his computer code and giving it to someone else, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. Sarkar then took his own life after killing William Klug, 39, in a small office in UCLA Engineering Building 4. Klug was an associate professor in mechanical and aerospace engineering and had been the target of Sarkar's anger on social media for months. On March 10th, Sarkar called the professor a very sick person who should not be trusted. Klug, who was described by friends as a kind and caring man, bent over backward to help Sarkar finish his dissertation and graduate, even though the quality of his work was not great. During the shooting, thousands of students and UCLA staff were racing to barricade themselves with classroom doors and desks, and anything else they could find after cell phones buzzed across the campus with alerts of a possible shooting. By 12:05 p.m., police confirmed that 2 men had been killed in an engineering building. The campus was declared safe, and UCLA officials lifted a lockdown that had canceled classes for the day. All classes, except those in engineering, were to resume today, Thursday, the university said. Engineering classes will resume once authorities have completed their investigation, which could be as early as Friday. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll talk about road construction out by the Walmart. Thanks for staying with us. In news about road construction by the new Walmart, we get this announcement from the contractor. The general contractor building the new Walmart Supercenter on the corner of South China Lake Boulevard and East Bowman Road is announcing the start of major road work. Please be advised that they have already started major storm drain work in the intersection of China Lake Boulevard and Bowman Road. This is to tie the West Bowman Wash to the East Bowman Wash. They will be installing an underground storm system that will join these two washes together. This is a very large part of the City of Ridgecrest storm drainage improvements. Traffic will be restricted to 1 lane in each direction between College Heights Boulevard and East Radar Street through July. There could also be some delays throughout this time as this work is very complicated. Please bear with them on this very complicated scope of work, and be alert to the safety of the construction workers. Slow down driving through the area. You can also avoid it altogether by going around the area using South Norma Street. In local club news, the China Lake Museum Foundation is getting ready for their annual dinner fundraiser. The event will be held this Saturday, June 4th. It'll be at the Kerr McGee Center starting at 4:30 p.m. This dinner and fundraiser helps raise funds for the operations of the museum on China Lake and to add funds to the construction account to build a new museum in the city. The proposed location of the new museum is by the Matter-Angle Museum. Moving the museum off base is real important to make it more accessible to the general public. This fall, they plan on starting the new museum with a 3,000 square foot building. This will be phase 1. Tickets for the dinner fundraiser is $35 for a single and $60 for a couple. So if you want to help, plan on attending the dinner fundraiser. Again, it will be held this Saturday, June 4th. It'll be at the Kerr McGee Center starting at 4:30 p.m. For more information or to buy tickets, they can be contacted at 760-939-3530. You can call and purchase your tickets with a credit card if you'd like. They also have a Facebook at China Lake Museum Foundation. Help make this great addition to the community a reality. Now it's time for the 148th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. I don't understand why people come and make comments at council meetings, then leave before they get their answers. So, Wednesday evening, the City Council once again held a public discussion on the proposed support agreement for the new Indian casino. Now I know there is a strong position on both sides of the proposal, those for it and those against it. And during the meeting, I also noticed the tolerance level between the sides is getting a little thin. However, this is a decision that is rightfully being carried out in the open with public input. But there's one aspect of that I don't understand. As one that often addresses the council on issues, when I make a comment or ask questions, I stay and wait for an answer. And then if I don't get an answer, I will follow up and ask it again. I don't ask a question and then leave. I don't drop a bomb on the council and not give them the opportunity to address my comments before I leave. If the topic is important enough for me to ask a question or make a comment, I stay and listen and learn from the council. Especially when a person makes a comment that appears to be challenging the council as to whether they're doing their job. The question is completely appropriate, but if you question their performance, why not stay and wait for the answer? And they usually do answer, or provide the basis for their decisions. Or does the person ask a question with their own already concluded opinion on the matter, and they are just throwing out a criticism in the form of a question? At the council meeting Wednesday night, the council held a respectful discussion, trying to answer the people's comments and questions. While many people might not have liked the answers, or just don't believe the answers, the discussion still occurred. Answers were provided. A discussion of the topics takes two sides to listen and discuss. When one side of the discussion leaves, the meaningful exchange is over. Rush Limbaugh used to call the drive-by media. A reporter would just drop a story on something and then run away before giving the intended target of the story a chance to reply. I'm sure no one intended to be rude or disrespectful, but it's just that I would stick around for the answer. How else can you learn whether they took into consideration your comment or question? Instead, you go home with a partial conclusion as to what is really happening. Now, before someone takes me to task that a person might not have the time to sit and wait, that could be true. Something could have come up requiring them to leave before getting their answer. That is possible. But I would hope that if that was the case, they would then come back at a subsequent meeting and ask for their answer. There are often times I don't agree with a council decision. However, I am constantly on them to communicate with the public. So let the public comment, which they do. However, communication takes two parties. It takes at least two participants, speakers and listeners, and they both need to be in the room at the same time. It is through this process we learn. We get to understand the topic better. We get to hear from the council why they are making the decisions they make. The council has a duty to fully explain their decisions to us. Most of the time, they do answer the questions. If we really care about the topic, we need to be there to listen. If you don't like their answers, that's fine. If you don't believe them, that's fine too. But at least have the respect to stick around and listen. And if they don't answer the way you like, get up and tell them that. You have the right to disagree, but you have to be there to do that. Effective discussion usually requires at least two parties. If you're not there to hear their answer, how will you ever know if your question has been answered to your satisfaction? In conclusion, I would encourage people that have comments or questions for the council to ask them. But then I would encourage you to stick around and hear their answer. And if they don't answer, ask it again and ask for the answer again. But you have to be there to hear their answer and even respond if necessary. I'm Tom Whitnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email in to info@kzgn.net. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have weather and sports. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, showers and thunderstorms will produce heavy rain and flash flooding over portions of the southern plains and western Gulf Coast. Additional flash flooding is possible today over portions of the Appalachians. Excessive heat is expected in portions of the Southwest late this week and weekend. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 72, Georgia at 88, Arkansas at 82, Northern Texas at 70, Arizona at 94, and Los Angeles at 66. And for us locally, tonight, clear with a low around 72, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Friday, sunny with a high near 107, southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, clear with a low around 69, west-northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Saturday, sunny with a high near 108, north-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 69, west-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny with a high near 102, south wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, clear with a low around 67, west-southwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. And Monday, sunny with a high near 102, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.